Let me make a couple of adjustments, make sure the top of my head isn't cut off. Let's see if we get some people logging in. There's always a delay. So if you hear me speaking and I don't know about things that aren't quite correct, there's always a delay. Good morning. Hello. We're getting ready to start the Karma Reboot. Hold on one second. Let me close my blinds there because I can see a glare coming on the screen. And that's terrible. We can't have that. There we go. That should do it. Let's give another moment here to see if people join in. It doesn't always record who's there and who's not. We've had a lot of RSVPs. I'm glad I decided to redo the Karma workshop because it got misbroadcast on the wrong channel. And apparently a few people missed it, but a lot of people made it and watched it afterwards. And so a lot of people RSVP'd that had done it before. So a lot of people were looking forward to it. So I'm glad to redo this because the refreshing thing is karma is such an anomaly and we're here to discuss its machinations and principles. And I could not avoid seeing the karmic irony in the fact that the karmic workshop was broadcast on the wrong channel. That's karma in action. What causes these things to go wrong? Our bad days and our good days are the karmic consequences from all kinds of factors. And that's what we're here to explore. So again, I'm kind of glad that things went wrong because it serves as a great example of all the things I'm talking about to present karma to you. Now, as many of you know, I always introduce myself first. I'm Krishnanand. I'm a master mystic, theologian, etc. And I only present information to you that is verifiable through authentic scriptural texts. Nothing is my own theories. And if I ever do present something that's my own theory or perception of things, I always qualify that by saying, I don't have this verified, but what I believe or what I perceive. Everything else that I present to you is always going to be verifiably authentic from actual scriptural sources. And in this case, from the Vedas. So we got the true science and laws of cosmic justice. This is what karma is. It's cosmic justice. It keeps things in check. It keeps things in balance. So we want to go again to the source, not my idea or your idea or anybody's opinion of what karma is. Because there's a lot of that in the West. People believe this or believe that. It has nothing to do with what you believe. Weather is what it is. It's the time of the day that it is. That's an objective truth. And that's what we're concerned about here is objective truths. So how do we find the true knowledge and machinations to understand how karma works and what it is and what it functions on? We go to the source. We go to karma. Karma is a Sanskrit word. The eternal, original, primordial language of the earth planet. It is timeless. It wasn't invented. It is considered, and I believe is, not believe, it is, an eternal, original, primordial language of the earth planet. So the word karma comes from that. Now let me distinguish that. You notice how I put the A in parentheses, because that is a British affectation from when they colonized India. They added A to everything because it's easier to aspirate an A at the end of a word. Dharm, karm, etc. So technically it's karma, and I'll usually refer to it that way. And sometimes I just say karma. So again, we go to the original source. The Sanskrit word is karma, and it means action, work or deed. Sanskrit words typically represent concepts, not just a single thing. So we can't really define just as a word because it represents a concept, much like Chinese language does. The concept of action or deed involves the reaction, the result of an action, or attached consequence also. You can't separate an action from its consequence. One begets the other. So karma doesn't just mean action, but also the results and the consequences of that action. The Sanskrit doesn't see action separate from its reaction or consequence. So first we need to understand the definition of the word, of what it means. And we're going to its source of Sanskrit, which is the language of Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma is the eternal religion, the spiritual philosophy. Sanatan meaning eternal, Dharma meaning truth. So Sanatan Dharma, and what again, the Europeans and the English changed that to Hinduism. I don't particularly like that term, neither does my guru. And in India and in most places that are authentic, they don't refer to it as Hinduism. They refer to themselves as Hindus. They refer to it as Sanatan Dharma, and they're Dharmists. So again, we're going to the source. I wouldn't present you anything less. So what is karma? It is the force of balance to the material phenomena. We have light, we have planets, we have stars, we have gravity, we have all kinds of forces at work in our material phenomena. Material phenomena being just that, the material dimension of living, of existence. Earth, planets, stars, moons, etc., etc. The material phenomena covers everything that you can perceive in any way that you can, even in higher consciousness, even in psychic realms. Anything that you can perceive is part of the material phenomena, not the divine or spiritual phenomena. That's beyond your perception. So karma is the force of balance to the material phenomena. It keeps things in check. It balances everything out. For every action, there's a reaction. Now, the original source and concept and definition of karma is the Vedas. The Vedas. Ved means knowledge. Hopefully you can see some of this. I'm going to read it out for you. The Vedas are the, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble leaving my glasses on. I'm having trouble seeing it myself. There we go. The Vedas are the core scriptural texts from Sanatan Dharma, eternal truth, also known as Hinduism. The Vedas give a complete scientific breakdown of what karma is, how it functions, and leaves nothing to conjecture. And I must have the wrong glasses, maybe not. Some more karma at work. The Vedas leave nothing to conjecture. There are volumes and volumes and volumes of karma of the Vedas. It's a huge library of them that deal with everything from your health, your fitness, to your mental health, to how to be right, to how to be correct, to justice, to work, to family, everything. There's a separate volume for every area of our existence in the Vedas. And karma is one of them. It has its own definition. So if we want to know what it means and how it works and how it functions, we go to its source. And that's what we're doing today. The Vedas are clear, concise, and complete, addressing every area of life. They leave nothing to conjecture, nothing to your imagination. They answer everything you need. Here's one of the things that, not one of, probably the main thing that sold me on Sanatan Dharma, why it is my spiritual path. Because nowhere in Sanatan Dharma are you ever told to just believe and just have faith. That is an important feature in your life for sure. But I am, as most human beings are, naturally suspect of anything that says to me, trust me, just believe me. Oh, it's just that way. That's the way it is. Really? We need to challenge these things. As mystics, as spiritualists, as intellectuals, I would imagine everybody here is of the same ilk. We're curious. We want to know why. And if somebody can't explain why, well, then I'm suspect already, right away. I'm turning away. As a counselor in behavioral issues and spiritual issues, I used to have a sign on my wall behind my head that said, no, I don't know. I don't know, with a big red line through it. Nobody was allowed to say, I don't know to me, because the moment you don't know something is the time for you to stop and figure it out. There's a reason for everything, and we can know it. God does not deprive us of knowledge of how things function and how they work, because knowledge, Ved, helps solidify our spiritual truths, our motivation. When we know why something works, what the consequence, the results are, then we're motivated to do it. We go to make food because we know the result will be that we won't be hungry anymore. But if we didn't know what the result would be, then we wouldn't bother doing it. We'd be floundering around lost. So the Vedas give us all of this, and they have complete sections and clear definitions of not only what karma is, but how it functions, what the machinations are of it. It functions as on a system. So hundreds of books, one of every part of giving knowledge. Now you can see in this image, there's Vedavyas, a descension of God himself, one of the aspects of God himself descended. And he is not writing the Vedas. He's not creating them. He is revealing them. And the way he did that was he went to Ganesh and said, I need a scribe. I'm going to dictate to you the Vedas. And you write it all down. And they made this deal. And Ganesh said, okay, but on one condition. Once you begin, you cannot stop. It has to be all the way through from beginning to end. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of shlokas. Shlokas are verses. And Vedavyas thought, well, okay, that's reasonable, but wow, I'm going to get screwed. What if I have to go to the bathroom, or what if I have to get a drink of water? What am I going to do? I mean, I can't stop. And he said, okay, I'll grant you your condition. I have a condition of my own. You can't write down anything that you don't understand. So the moment you get something that you're stuck on, you got to stop. Vedavyas knew that eventually, so when he needed to go to the bathroom or get something to eat or something to drink, he would throw out some tricky shlok that would make Ganesh kind of scratch his head and go, I got to think about that. And you get a pause. There's a little bit of historical anecdotes from that episode of our history. So let's get back to the Karm. I'm moving at kind of a rapid pace here today because there's so much new stuff. Many of the people that tuned in last time and in between have emailed some questions and some concerns about that wasn't presented. And it's really important. I've got some time to go over that too. So again, let's get back to the machinations and function of it and how we can associate with it. A very similar way to look at it is Newton's third law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Now, the difference is with Karm is that it's not just an opposite reaction. It's typically a similar one. You do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. Now, keep in mind that that's all subjective. We'll get to that in a moment, actually. I think I have a slide coming up on that. So the law of physics is that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. There's a consequence. That one thing begets another, a domino effect of everything. Theory of chaos, quantum physics, etc. And it's all stuff that we can understand by analyzing it. And Isaac Newton showed that with gravity, with all these other things. And eventually, they actually nailed down gravity, which was elusive for many, many decades. And so Isaac Newton, by the way, Cambridge professor and alchemy brother. I say brother because he belonged to the same alchemy group, the IAG, that I do as a master alchemist. And I'm honored that I'm even associated with something that this man was involved with. A little side note on that I'd like to point out about Sir Isaac Newton. He took his role as professor at Cambridge simply because all he wanted to do was alchemy. And the Cambridge University went to him and said, well, we need you to be the head of physics and science. And he said, okay. And they said, but you can't even talk about alchemy. That's just too crazy. We can't have that. We can't associate with that. So you got to keep that really, really quiet. But if you keep it quiet, we'll fund everything you do. So he took the job simply as an alchemist. That's all he wanted to do. So he was very quiet about it, very secret about his alchemy work. But the salary that he got and his resources and the materials were all applied to his alchemy. A little side note there. So an equal and opposite reaction. That's karma, baby. That's how it functions. Now, again, how it functions. Every action, every thought, and every intention that you have causes a reaction. Now, here's where the big flaw in most Western thinking and even Eastern thinking is where karma is concerned. We think that what you do, when you do good, you get good, do bad, you get bad. And yes, you do. However, again, we look to the Vedas that teach us that the way it works is that all of your actions, all of your karmas are stored in the Akashic records. Another Sanskrit word, Akashic. Most of us know this word. And it means open sky or vacuum. The Akashic records are where all of our actions, thoughts, deeds are stored. You see in this image, there's basically like a big giant filing cabinet library. So all of our actions, thoughts, and intentions are stored in the Akashic records. They're stored there in these files because John Lennon was wrong about one single thing only. There's no such thing as instant karma. Your actions, thoughts, and intentions are stored in the Akashic records for future incarnation and future fruition. You don't receive the consequences for an action instantly. And most of us know this. We know that when something good or bad happens to us, that we suspect it was karma for something we did good or bad a little while ago. Sometimes it feels very instant, coincidentally, pretty much. So it's important to know a very important feature of the karmic functions is to understand that every thought, action, and intention is stored in the Akashic records, in your own personal Akashic records. Now, intention is very significant. That's why I got that all in caps, they're real big bold. Because in a similar way, in the worldly government, your intention is very much considered when you commit a crime, when you do something, good or bad. Murder is a capital offense in most places, as it should be, and yet the intention is considered. I've always found it interesting that homicide is worse than manslaughter, because manslaughter is such a horrible word. I mean, it just sounds so violent and bloody and catastrophic, manslaughter. But manslaughter really is the term for an unintentional murder. You didn't mean to kill that person. It was an accident. And so your sentencing is considerably more lenient because you didn't intend for it to happen. Many people are acquitted from manslaughter because they didn't mean to do it. So intention is very important in the worldly government as well as the spiritual government that manages karma. Karma works on principles and functions in mechanical things. It is not a living force. It is part of the material phenomena, like gravity, like light, like every other force in the physical world. It is a force that functions on principles. And the principles are that every action, thought, and intention is stored within the Akashic records of your soul and spirit. So there's no such thing as instant karma. Again, John Lennon was only wrong about one thing. I love John, what can I say? He's only wrong about one thing, and even though it's a great song and it makes a lot of sense, he's reminding us to be conscious of our thoughts and our actions. So if these consequences for all of our actions and thoughts and intentions are stored in this Akashic nebulous place, what happens to them? Why are they stored there? If we're not getting instant results from them or consequences from them, why are they stored there? Because again, another thing that we cannot do, we can't separate the concept of karma from reincarnation. So if you struggle with or don't accept the feature of reincarnation in your existence, well, then you might as well tune out, because it's a real thing. It ain't a concept. It's not a theory. It's not a belief. It's a feature of existence. And karma and reincarnation function together because all of your consequences of your deeds, thoughts, and intentions are stored in the Akashic records to fructify, take fruit, and be experienced in future lifetimes. There's no such thing as instant karma. What you're experiencing in this life, good and bad consequence and features, are results from your past life deeds, thoughts, actions, and intentions. Now, I often, giving this type of presentation, and good morning to you, Walter, thank you. In Western audiences, I get some blowback from this. Well, that's not what I think. That's not what I believe. I'm presenting to you what the source says. If we want to know the truth of something, let's go to its source. And the Vedas are the source. The word karma does not exist. It originates from Sanskrit. It originates from the Vedas. So I'm telling you what it says. And again, we cannot separate the concept and the feature of reincarnation from karma, because your thoughts, deeds, and actions and intentions are stored within the Akashic records to fructify, to play out in your future lifetimes. The other thing to understand is that we've been alive forever. This is another separation from the very Western mentality of religious concepts that there was a creation day where we didn't exist. In the East and in Sanatan Dharma, we accept that the soul is eternal, has always been and always will be, in various forms, from insects to animals to human beings to leaves and on to trees, plants, whatever. And that whatever life form you get or you take in any incarnation is a result of your karmas that are stored in your Akashic records. So we cannot separate the feature of reincarnation from karma, because karma, again, is the force that binds us to the material phenomena. Oh, let me back up a second. We're going to get to that because that's where the questions are coming in. So we're getting some basic understanding of how karma works, that it gets stored in your Akashic records, and that's not just actions, but thoughts and intentions. We have a lot of people that will say, why do you think so negatively? I mean, and that's correct, because when you think negatively, you are absolutely setting out a frequency of negativity, of toxic things, etc. And I think we've all been in rooms where somebody comes in and they just seem to light up a room. And some people kind of darken a room, and I can sometimes do both in one day. And this is because what we're radiating from ourselves is sensed. It seems somewhat tangible. And this is why, again, actions, of course, have consequences, but so do in karma and in the spiritual government, so do thoughts and intentions. Now, you can't get convicted of a crime for thinking bad thoughts in the worldly government, only actions. But intentions are considered. But in the spiritual government, you receive consequences for your thoughts as well. Now, understand something. We all have lots of crazy thoughts. Many of them not so good. And we're like, whoa, did I just think that? Do I really feel that way? I don't think that, do I? I don't hate people. I don't even know that person. But I think that bad thing about them. Those types of thoughts actually don't count because they're kind of popping up out of nowhere. And they do come from past life sanskars and karmas, but you're not willfully, deliberately thinking about them. The only time you receive a bad consequence for a negative thought is when you attach to it and follow it and encourage it. So if I'm driving along the freeway and somebody's pissing me off, which usually somebody is, and I should have negative thoughts about them, that's a natural reaction. I can't really stop that. I'm not willfully, deliberately trying to have negative thoughts. I'm just pissed off. I'm just irritated. In a similar way, somebody's doing something good, I don't naturally, willfully think about good things either. That just kind of happens. It's just a natural reaction. You give me some pain, I say, ow. You give me something good, and I say, thank you. That's it. It's a natural reaction. So these types of thoughts, while they may be negative, we don't receive consequence for them until or unless we attach and follow them and encourage them. So if I think that bad thought about the guy that cut me off in traffic, that's neutral. I don't get any consequences for that unless I have fun with it and start thinking bad thoughts, deliberately participating in the process. Then there's consequences for sure. Those are getting stored in the Akashic records. Figure out and feel later. This is also a very important feature to understand, that there are neutral karmas. Going to the toilet, making yourself food and eating. These kind of survival issues that you do. Breathing, for God's sakes. Brushing your teeth. These are neutral karmas. They're actions. Now what you're thinking while you're doing it, that's different. That has a consequence to it. So if I'm thinking while I'm brushing my teeth how great somebody is, well then that's good thoughts. But if I'm thinking while I'm brushing my teeth how crappy somebody is, well then that's negative thoughts. So there are many actions and thoughts that are basically neutral, that don't really have consequences. Things that come up out of nowhere, and actions such as eating and brushing your teeth and going to the toilet and things like that, making the bed, whatever it may be, that don't really have consequences because they're neutral. But the intention with what we do them with is different. Now I'll jump and give you a very elevated perspective real quick. It wasn't going to be part of this, but I feel that I got to say it out loud. As a spiritualist, I am determined every moment to convert every action, thought, and intention I have into a spiritual one, not a material one. I'm not making my bed to make my material world better. I'm making my bed so that I can be at peace and be less distracted by something that needs to be done, so that I'm more freed and liberated to devote my mind and my consciousness and my heart and my emotions to spirituality. Whether I'm eating my breakfast, brushing my teeth, whatever it may be, again, the thought, the intention is I'm maintaining my health, fortifying my body so that I can serve God, because that's all I really care about. I don't mean to sound like a religious fanatic, but as a spiritualist, that's all I really care about. That's what we're all here for. So these actions that are somewhat neutral and thoughts that can be neutral can be converted into spiritual karmas and good karmas because of what we think and what our intention is. So either shut your mind off when you're brushing your teeth and making your toast for breakfast, or turn it on and think of good things. It takes a little bit of practice. And again, when the bad thoughts come, to avoid receiving consequences and feeding into that negative frequency in the world and sending those radiations out there, just cut them off. Acknowledge it. Wow, I can't believe I just thought that bad thought about that person. And then just move on, like a cloud passing across the sun. Let it float by. Don't try to stop. Don't analyze it. Don't do anything. Just let it go. And eventually the light will reemerge and come back to you. The warmth of the sun will be there again when the cloud passes. So when you have bad thoughts, you have bad urges and tendencies, then just let them pass. And when the good ones come, capitalize on them, exploit them, follow those thoughts, attach to those, exemplify them, enhance them, participate in them, send them with actions, do more. So we had some questions from some of the participants in between this one who didn't get to join in, and also people that did. So I'm going to get to those now. Sorry about the pace we're moving at, but there's so much more to cover because these questions have been introduced. So let's hope I wrote them down right, because I put this thing together like yesterday. First one is, oh wait, actually, I was going to start with one. Oh no, there's the next one. That's coming up. Sorry. So the first one is, how can you heal and resolve past life karmic debts? This is a great question. We all want to know, how can we activate and pay our karmic debts? I don't want to hang it over my head. I want to pay my bills. I want to pay my dues. I want to get it out of the way. Sadly, the unexciting answer is, don't worry about it. Karma will make sure you pay. Don't worry. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything about it. It will come. Karma will come and bring you the debt to pay, and you can't ignore it and then call customer service. No, karma doesn't work like that. When karmic debts are ready to be paid, they exact themselves in your life through events and circumstances that cause it to happen. I'll give you some very clear examples of that very soon. So the answer to how can we heal or resolve past life karmic debts is, you are every day resolving them and paying those debts. And you're also experiencing the benefits of them too, the good karmas that you have. Karma is moving through your life all the time. Like the weather, you can't change it. You can prepare for it, put on something warm if it's cold out, put on something cool if it's hot out. You can prepare for it and minimize the damage it's going to do to you and discomfort, but you can't change it. The weather is the weather. And I like to look at karma sometimes as weather. I got to deal with it as it is, what I'm being given. Second one here. Can you clear and cleanse personal issues and defects for a next life? And this one. So in a similar way, it's how do we resolve karmic debts and circumstances so we can get a better situation in our next life and or this one? Well, the second part of that was already answered, because there's no such thing as instant karma. You can't pay karmic debts in this life for things that you've done, because it doesn't even fructify or pan out into your next life. However, for your next life, think of it this way. I look at my life, my lifestyle, my actions, my decisions. Every moment, I have a karmic bank account. What am I going to deposit in there? Material deposits, material karmas, or spiritual karmas? Good ones or bad ones? Because whatever I deposit in my karmic bank account is what I'm going to withdraw from in my next lives. Notice I said lives, not life, because it's many. Whatever I deposit, whatever you deposit into your karmic bank account in this life is what you're going to be withdrawing from in your next lives. So what you deposit is where it's going to come down to. What are you depositing? Good things, bad things, nothing. I want to have a lot to withdraw from. I want good material karma so that I'm safe, comfortable, have a life of leisure enough where I can actually have a latitude to devote myself to spiritual things instead of survival things. And the more we put in that bank account, the more we have to withdraw. It is a volume. It is an amount, a quantity. So every moment, every day, I am trying to consider everything that I'm doing, including this workshop and the work that I do, to convert my work into something that educates and illuminates concepts that people are often misinformed by. It's what I can do. That's what I know. There's a lot of things I can't do. I can't perform heart surgery. I can't save lives. Not in that way. I save lives mentally and emotionally and spiritually. And I have for many years. And I'm proud of that. I'm honored, not proud. I'm honored to do it. But I'm also selfish, as you are, as we all are. I'm selfish because ultimately I know that when I do good in the world, when I do good in my life, that I'm investing, I'm depositing good karma in my bank account for later withdrawal. I'm making a savings. I encourage you to borrow this perspective. You're welcome to it, to make deposits into your karmic bank account that are healthy and lucrative for later withdrawal. You're going to withdraw from your karmic bank account one way or the other. What are you going to withdraw is up to you. The good stuff, the bad stuff, or nothing. When your bank account's empty, it's empty. The third one, can physical wounds and defects from past lives remanifest for healing in this life? Yes and no. In other words, if I had a wound or defect in my past life, can it remanifest in this life for healing? Well, the reality is, if it manifested in a prior lifetime, well, then I was already paying that karmic consequence. That's why it manifested. You're born with a defect or given a defect or an illness or whatever it may be, or an event in your life, anything good or bad. Again, we could be winning the lottery. You're basically withdrawing from your account and you're realizing the results of it. So when you have physical injuries or defects in your past lives, because you had regression, you remember them or something like that, well, you paid those. Be relieved. I don't like paying my bills, but once they're done, I mean, I hate sitting down at the computer and clickety-clack and giving all my money away for things like lights and power and, paying the trash man and blah, blah, blah. It sucks because they don't give it to me for free. But as stressful as it is once a month to do that for 15, 20 minutes, once I'm done, I'm relieved. I'm broke, but I'm relieved because it's done. I don't have to do it again until next month. I paid my bills. And it gives me a sense of peace because I can now focus on other things because it's out of the way instead of hanging over my head. I usually pay my bills 3 or 4 days early because I just want to get it out of the way. As soon as it comes to my mind, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pay it. That's why a lot of people have automatic withdrawal to pay their bills. So the reality is any physical injuries or emotional or physical or psychological defects that you had in a past life, same within this life, you are paying your karmic debts. That's what it is. That's what those defects are, is you're paying debts. You did or caused things to happen similar to other people and souls in past lives, and therefore you're receiving the consequence of those. They're very similar in magnitude. They be different brands, different qualities, but they're very similar in magnitude. I got a mind blowing for you coming up as myself as the example. As many of you already know, and I'll go into a little bit here, I was killed, dead, lost my identity, lost my memory, was told I'd never walk, was told I'd be a vegetable. I've become a medical miracle. Part of the reason I postponed the near-death experience workshop is because I wanted to do karma first, because it dovetails into it, to get the benefit and the messages and lessons that are very valuable in the near-death experience workshop coming up. This is going to be very important to be able to have first, to understand how it works. Takes a lot of the questions away. The last one is, can stuck or trapped energies from old wounds be brought into current life for healing and releasing? Again, very good questions. Here's the beauty about the spiritual government and how the machinations of existence work. It's all very simple. The truth is simple. You know when you see it. And Occam's razor. The simplest, easiest solution is usually the right one. So again, we refer back to the prior question. Can stuck and trapped energies from old wounds be brought into current life for healing and releasing? Yes, and you don't really have to do anything about it because they're coming. Karma is going to unfold. It's coming either way. You can't stop that storm on the horizon. You can't stop that beautiful day coming either. It's going to come. That's beyond your control. That's the way the nature works. However, I'm pausing because I think I might be a little irresponsible by giving you this very inside track as I share this with you. Technically, on paper, Vedas explain that no, you can't change karmas. It's just going to happen. You can't actuate them, activate them, or anything else. They just come. You cause them, they're coming. However, I can tell you from personal experience of mine and several others that the will is a very, very powerful force. Let me preface this by saying to you very sincerely, be careful what you wish for, because as I have recognized the value of paying my karmic debts to be clean and clear of them so I become closer to God and the Godhead and spirituality, to cleanse my soul, to pay my debts and get it off my back. And I begged and prayed with all sincerity, with my will, which was a fire. Bring it on. All of it out there, just bring it on. And as I finished the sentence in my head, I reeled back. I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? I should never have said that. No, never mind. Don't bring it on. No. Just let it trickle in. I saw. I'm cool. Too late. Once you ask and demand from your will, truly and sincerely, like a force, you can't stop it. You can't whistle it back. Again, I can say it in almost a casual way. I hope you will join my Near Death Experience workshop because it's intense and every feature of it. There's a lot of near death experience out there, a lot of accounts of it. I can tell you, it ain't a competition. Mine blows them all away. I mean, it's just one freaking mind-bending, verified miracle after another. It's just, and I mean one after another. I mean the moment it happens, just one after another. They're undeniable. So we can't stop those things coming. And yet, because our divine parent, God, loves us, when we whine and complain and cry and say, please, 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 with all of our will and true sincerity, we activate things. The power of prayer. We activate things. Be careful what you wish for. You don't need to wish for or ask for your karmas to be delivered to you. They're coming. Now, I keep inferring to this as if it's a negative thing. Let's keep in mind that the good features of your life are karmic based too. If you're stable financially, have a place to live, you're reasonably healthy, all these kind of things, that's good karmas. Those aren't just I can't think of the word, I'm drawing blank. Those aren't just coincidences. Those aren't things you don't deserve. You earned those too. You earned the bad thing, but you earned the good ones too. All of us are a mixed bag of good and bad karmas. All of us. Notice that the image I use here is Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill, because that's karma. And what happens when Sisyphus rolls a rock up the hill? It comes back down on him, and he starts over. Eternally, Sisyphus was condemned to push that rock up the hill. And that rock represents all of our burdens, all of our karmas, pushing that rock up the hill to just have it roll over you again and start over. My little poetic comedy, I guess. So be careful what you wish for. Yes, you can, in spite of what the Vedas say. And again, I'm showing you my own theory of perception. that I have self-verified evidence of from my own experience. Now, there's some conjecture there. Did the karmas that I experienced, did I activate them with my will by saying, bring it on to my divine parent and begging and saying, demanding and saying, bring it on. I want it so I can come closer to you. Or, so were they going to come anyway? Or did I really activate it? We'll never know. I can't know. I could feel the force of my will radiating outwards and causing an effect. But maybe I'm delusional. Maybe we all are. I sense in all of my logical conclusions and reasonability and reason has time and time again concluded that I didn't create new karmas to experience the changes that occurred in my life from dying. What I believe and perceive occurred is that I activated karmas and it would be arranged a certain way. They're still my karmas. Being in the face by a truck was still my karma. I wasn't going to escape that. But I think I either accelerated its time schedule, decelerated its time schedule, or minimized or maximized its event. Now, I know there's a lot of variables there. Did I minimize it, maximize it? Did I postpone it? Did I accelerate it? Which one? I mean, those are contradictions. I can't know, and I don't need to know. Because here's the other thing. All these questions that have to do with resolving past life, it just doesn't matter. Your past lives are inconsequential. They're irrelevant. When I woke up in the hospital, I could not speak, I could not move, I could not think, I could not feel. Within a few days, I could think and feel a little bit. And the doctors and surgeons and whoever else started to tell me what happened. Well, you were sitting at an intersection and you got hit in the face by a truck and you were killed and brought here and you were in a coma, a Glasgow coma for 9 days. And I woke up on my birthday. And that's what happened. And I was literally thinking to myself, as brain dead as I was, thank you very much. And I thought it because I could not speak. Thank you very much. Those are 40 seconds of my life I'll never get back. What a waste of time. Tell me why I'm here. How I got here. I need to know how to get out. How do I resolve this? Tell me how to walk. Tell me what to do. I could not find any value in understanding what brought me there. Was I curious? Honestly, not really. I was curious what I could do about it. I was terrified. My life was over in an instant. I was terrified. How you got where you are and what you did to create the karmic consequence is irrelevant. You did them. How do you know you're getting something you deserve? Because it's happening. There's the evidence. How do you know you deserve it? Because it's happening. Whether it's good or bad, and that's subjective, then it's happening, then you deserve it. You caused it. So going back into the past and figuring all that out has no value. You're not going to change anything. You're going to satisfy a little curiosity. You still got to do the work. You still got to live out the consequences or enjoy them. You still have to experience them. So what does it matter how you got there? The reality is how you got there was some similar event that you caused that was similar to it. That's why. If you're getting good things, winning the lottery, well, then you were charitable in a past life. You were very kind and giving. If you're getting tragedies and sufferings, well, then you caused that in past lives to other people. And again, we're all a mixed bag of both. None of us are all bad. None of us are all good. None of us were all bad or all good. Well, maybe a couple of them, maybe. So we're all a mixed bag of karmas. None of us are getting all good situations. None of us are getting all bad. We're a mixed bag. Some, and it fluctuates. So let me get to another question here before we run out. And this one I also like a lot. Is there a link between karma and astrology? Very fascinating, unusual question. That's why I like this one, because it's kind of out of the box. And so, yes, astrology, our sun signs, our star signs, et cetera, our horoscope is the map, the blueprint of our experiences. So basically, if you want to understand your karmas, you can understand astrology. If you can read ephemeral charts and birth charts and temporary charts and current charts as well as I can, because I'm astrology, I would say master, I'm pretty good at it, then yes, You can predict your karms, the good ones and the bad ones. You can't stop them, but you can predict them. I can't stop the weather, but I can, through prediction, by watching the weather report, I can know whether I should wear a coat or a tank top. I can prepare and minimize the discomfort it's going to bring me. If it's over 90 degrees, I want to stay in with the air conditioning on. I'm a pitta dosha. I do not like heat. But if it's 40 degrees and 50 degrees, I'm outside working. I love it. I enjoy it. And if I know it ahead of time, like I can with astrology, by predicting the weather and making predictions, well, if I know it ahead of time, well, then I can plan my next day ahead of time. Yep, I'll be there at 7 a.m. But on a hot day in the summertime, I'm like, well, I'll be there at 7 a.m. because it's cool. I won't be there past 10. So the link between karma and astrology is that astrology can be a tool that we can use to understand, to predict, to anticipate our karma and better prepare for it. And when we prepare for it, we can minimize its damage, enhance our success in it, and even learn to exploit it, which will be coming up soon. I'm going to teach you a little bit about understanding your brand of karma and how to maximize it. Karma is the force of Maya, the material phenomena, that binds us to the material phenomena. Let me say it again. Notice I have handcuffs and bars there because true spiritualists do not look at the world as a great place. This is a prison. It is an insane asylum. We're all patients. We're all impatients here. All of us. The enlightened masters, the God-realized souls, they know that we're crazy. They know that we don't get it. We're delusional. And karma is the force of the material phenomena that binds us to it. Because as long as you have karmas to experience, then you have to reincarnate. So think of karma like golf. The lowest score wins. We want to get our karmic points to 0. Then we don't have to reincarnate anymore in the material phenomena. As great as the material phenomena is, it has limitations. And even the best features of it have problems. Some of the food is great, but the best food makes you fat, makes you unhealthy. Drugs are great, but they cause all kinds of havoc. Sex is good, but you better be careful because, if you're not paying attention, you could enjoy the bliss of or the pain of both raising a child for 25 years. So the best features are balanced out by bad features too. There's no all good and there's no all bad. That's a very subjective opinion. So karma is the material force that binds us to it. This is what reincarnation is about because we have to keep living out our karmas because we have karmic debts to pay. Good ones and bad ones. So when I say karmic debts, we always think debts is a bad word, but it could be good ones too. We have to receive the benefits of the good karmas that we've done. If you've done charitable things and done good things, well, then you have to receive the benefits of that. In order to do that, you have to reincarnate. A whole nother topic. There is not enough time in one presentation to cover this topic. I'm hoping to do this in a 2 or 3-part series for those who are interested. Because the ultimate question then becomes, so if karma binds me to the material phenomena and I've been around for eternity, then I have an infinite amount of karmas to live out. Well, then how do I ever get out of here? If you're asking that question, that's the question to ask. We can't cover that in today's meetup, but it is the question to ask. Yes, there is a way out. Yes, there is an exit. That is part of the spiritual phenomena. Now, I said earlier that there's no such thing as instant karma. Well, there is. There's 2 types of karma: material karma and spiritual karma. Material karma, I do good things in the world. I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm charitable, I'm loving, I'm supportive. I work hard, I take care of myself, I'm self-reliant, blah, blah, blah. I give good material consequences, good health in the future life, wealth, stability, etc., etc. There's a difference between material karma and spiritual karma. Spiritual karma is the result of spiritual actions and thoughts and intentions that are purely devoted to spiritual concepts. Again, it's a complicated subject because to truly understand what a spiritual concept is, we have to divorce ourselves from material phenomena altogether. Whatever you can think of is partly material because you have a material mind, not a spiritual one. You're not divine yet. Your soul is, but your mind is not. Your mind is part of the material phenomena. Let me see if there's any questions here. How do you protect or isolate yourself from negative? Oh, good question. Collective karma. For example, misdeed of country, society. Wow, that's a great question. We got to answer that. So your intention is a form of alchemy. Oh, I like that too. So it's best to practice Buddhist non-attachment. All very great. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating, putting this stuff in here to play out in future incarnations. For what purpose? Okay, let me address that first one. Why? What's the purpose of experiencing our karmas in our future lives? That's the way it is, because it works on a principle. And so on one level, it's simply because that's the way it works. Rain falls and things grow and they turn green. That's it. That's the science of it. That's just an objective fact of the way nature works. So that's one answer. However, God's more clever than that. Spiritual government's more clever than that. There is an ultimate objective and purpose to remind us that no matter what we do, all the good karmas and the bad, that the bottom line is we are bound in the material phenomena. So karma reminds us daily that this ain't bliss, this ain't divine world, this ain't divine phenomena, this material. So the lesson, the reason we want to understand karma, the value of understanding it and working with it and mastering it and creating good karma is indeed to create spiritual opportunities to liberate ourselves from the material phenomena. Followed by that next one that says the Buddhist non-attachment. Yes, for sure. Your everyday actions should have non-attachment, brushing your teeth, going to the toilet, making your food, whatever. However, if you can form an attachment with a spiritual intent, then you convert that action, that thought and intention to a spiritual karma, not a material one. So I don't practice non-attachment. I can't help it. I'm a desire machine, and so are you. The Buddha taught that life is suffering, that the cause of suffering is desiring. To end suffering, you must end desiring. Good luck. You're a desire machine, and so am I. They come up all on their own, nonstop, one after another, just never ending. So we can't non-attach. You can practice and practice and practice, and you'll make some improvements. But the bottom line is, in this age of Kali, again, a little bit of advanced thing. For those of you who know it, that's great. Those of you who don't, we'll go over another time. In this age of Kali, you can't stop desiring. It happens automatic. You don't willfully desire things. They just automatically occur. So detaching takes a lot of work. So instead, replace your attachments. Bad ones with good ones. Material ones with spiritual ones. I want to brush my teeth materially so that I stay in good health. So I don't have to spend money on dentists. Yes. But spiritually, because whatever money I don't spend on dentists, whatever time I have available, well, then I can spend in meditation and loving God and admiring God and enjoying God's love for me. Then it becomes a spiritual action and intent. So Buddhism is, at the very least, agnostic, virtually atheistic. It doesn't include God in its philosophy. It's not a spiritual path. It's a philosophy. So I don't advocate non-attachment because A, you won't be able to do it, and B, it's a lot easier, a lot more beneficial to convert your intentions with attachments towards spiritual things, to serve and please the divine realm, to serve and please God. Another one is, does your intention, so your intention is a form of alchemy. Everything is a form of alchemy. Alchemy is a system of evolution and growth and consciousness expansion. And that will be whole other workshops too, because I'm a master alchemist. I mean, certified, literally got plaques on the wall from Flamel College, one of my favorite paths. So I'm a master alchemist. And we'll go over that in another future one. How do you protect? Oh, I love this one. Protect or isolate yourself from negative collective karmas, for example, misdeed of country, society, and family. Wow, that is deep, and I think we all need to know it. And again, the beauty is the answer is actually quite simple. Just don't get attached. Just don't get involved. Now, of course, I see wrongs in the world, and I believe, and I quote often Thomas Jefferson when he said, "Evil thrives where good men do nothing." I'm not going to watch and stand idly by while bad things are happening or somebody's doing something wrong. I'm going to intervene. That's my natural tendency. I can't help it. I'm not trying to be a hero. I just can't watch it go on. I'm not going to go seek them out because I got other things to do. But if I see something wrong taking place, yes, I'm going to say, "Hey, could you mind throwing that in a trash can? Could you mind turn that up or down or whatever it may be?" I'm going to intervene. I'm going to gently, in my style of ahimsa, do no harm, try to be a force of good and reminding people how to evolve and be better. I'm not God. I can't dictate who's right and what's wrong. All I can do is offer my wisdom and my insights with reasons behind it. So yes, we are all affected by the collective consciousness, the collective karma, because there is your karma, and then whoever's in the room, we're all sharing karmas right now, exchanging karmas. And then there's collective, even a bigger, in your city, your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country, and globally. So collective karma is a real thing for sure. And again, it's what you participate in. Look, I'm a vegan vegetarian. I'm not trying to save the world. I don't lecture on it. I encourage it. My way of encouraging vegetarian and veganism is I invite people to sample it, to go to lunch. I have a friend that asked me to have lunch with them today, and she knows I'm a vegetarian. And I said, sure. And my way of expressing my gratitude is to expose and turn this person on to some really great food and how good it feels to eat it. Because she's not going to be taking on any karmas by not eating animal food. Because when you participate in these things, you're exchanging karmas with the animal, with the people that processed it and turned it into food. I already got enough of my own karmas. I don't want any more. So back to the detachment, to separate yourself from the collective karma. Don't attach to it. Do what's right. Live in ahimsa. Do what's correct, regardless of consequence. Do what's right. Now, we're all defective people. We're not omniscient. So how do we know what's right? We only have our subjective view of what's right and what's wrong. That's the best we can do. But the wiser you get, the more you align yourself with spiritual concepts that are truth, not just made up new age garbage. You guys all know how I rail about that sometimes. The more you align yourself with these truths, let me get these handcuffs out of the way. There we go. That's a better image to look at while I'm going on and on about this. We are part of the collective karma, but what are we going to participate in? You do want to get involved politically. You should vote for sure. I'm a spiritualist. I don't align myself with any political affiliations. Really, it's all garbage to me. I love another Jesus saying that is, render to Caesar what is Caesar's, render to God what is God's. That's his way of saying, you know what? Keep these things separate. They're not the same thing. What you do in the world is very different than what you do with your spiritual life. Don't confuse them. But I live in the world. I need to live with the president of the United States and the government and these kind of political things. So I am going to vote, but I'm not going to overly attach to it. I'm going to remain within my eternal concepts of truth and righteousness and spirituality. Governments come and go. Trends come and go. Online things come and go. What is eternal? Yes, do what's right. Cast your vote. Try to be educated. I think everyone should be able to vote for sure once they're of age. But there's a part of me that also suspects that shouldn't we at least make sure they know how to, read or understand things? Because a lot of ignorant people are casting votes that dictates all of our lives. And ignorance is not a crime, but we've got to be careful that we're qualified to be able to vote and have some influence. So To separate and guard yourself from the negative collective karma. Again, thank you so much, Eunice, for asking this. What a beautiful question. So we can all benefit from so much. Exactly that. Ahimsa, do no harm. Do what's right. When it's time to vote, go participate. Do your best. Don't take the back seat and take a neutral stance. Say, I'm not doing anything. I don't believe in it. You're affected by it. We're all caught in this together. We're all in the same global community. So participate. But don't over-attach to it. To an extent, it's beyond your control. I do what I can in the world. And as a clinical counselor, I save a lot of lives. And I'm honored to be able to do that. But I prefer to spend my time evolving people spiritually and their consciousness. And I do both. When I'm treating people for clinical issues that are destroying their lives, or I'm trying to elevate their consciousness in spiritual concepts so they can transcend the material sufferings that they're in. So we want to create a separation. For sure, involve yourself and work within the world. And I love this saying very much. I think it's a Zen thing. Be in the world, but not of it. Let me restate that. Let me re-say it. I try to live in the world, but not be of it. That very simple phrase says a lot. I got to go to the grocery store. I got to pay my bills. I got to go to work. I got to mow my lawn. I got to keep up appearances. I got to shower and all these kind of things. I got to be in the world, but I'm not going to be of it. I am a spirit having a human experience, not a human having a spiritual experience. Keep your perspective. Don't lose sight of it. Yes, participate in the world's needs and be charitable and be kind and be good and be a force of what you believe is to be correct and true. I'm not against picket signs and protests at all. I may not participate in them anymore, but I have. And it's not because I don't think they're useful. They can be. But I find, for me personally, the best way to interact with these cultural, country, political, etc. karmas is to be the example I want to see in the world, to live it, to radiate it, to show it by example. And if anybody asks, to lecture on it and teach it too. If they don't ask, it's okay. Again, vegetarianism. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm definitely not an omnivore and I don't support it. Animal eating. I just don't support it. I've been a vegan vegetarian for 20 years. I'm not going to judge anybody. I used to eat meat. Who am I to judge? Who am I? I'm not worthy of judging anyone. And again, my way of influencing people is by inviting them to enjoy the food. Enjoy it so they can see for themselves through personal experience how delicious it is and how different it makes you feel when you consume it, how clean and healthy it is overall to your mind, to your body. Same with politics, same thing with keeping my house decent. I'm not trying to lecture anybody. I'm mowing my lawn, and because I want my neighbors to not look down on me, and I want them to be able to enjoy a beautiful neighborhood, just like I want to be able to enjoy it. I want to do my part. I can't sit here and meditate all day long and say I don't give a damn. I'm part of this community too. So, great questions. Isn't getting off the wheel of samsara being oneness? Yes, and I got to be honest with you, that's a different conversation as we talk about how to liberate ourselves from karma, how to transcend the material phenomena and get into spiritual phenomena. And that is a whole other workshop, which is coming, but that's very, very advanced and very high stuff. And yes, I can and will give you some tremendous insights to that. And what a great question. So here we are on this slide that says subjective reality versus objective reality. As we talk about good karmas and bad karmas, there's no such thing. Karma is objective. It doesn't know the difference between good or bad. And as Shakespeare said, nothing is good nor bad till thinking makes it so. So what I might consider bad karma, you might consider good because you might not like me. So when something bad happens to me, if you don't like me, you're like, well, that's good. Look, I'm not wishing bad upon anybody. But when I hear that a Bernie Madoff or some crooked criminal is going to jail, when I heard that the guy that I invested $35,000 with in an investment was going to jail for stealing everybody's money, I was glad. I was happy. I didn't even know the guy. I'm not saying he deserves it. I'm not saying he's evil. What do I know? All I know is, for me, my subjective view is that person was bad. But do I know that for sure? No, I'm not God. The objective reality is they took money that wasn't theirs. That's the objective truth. The subjective reality of it is my personal opinion. I rejoice in seeing justice occur because it reminds me that there's still justice in the world, because so much of what I see, again, as a clinical counselor, the pain that's driven me to virtual retirement from behavioral counseling, so hard to see. Good things happening to bad people and bad things happening to good people. I mean, I'm going to get emotional because it means so much to me, and how much pain, because what I saw again and again as a counselor, the best people, the kindest, gentlest, sweetest clients that I've ever had, all of them that were so sweet and generous and kind, were getting shit on, just being attacked and just having bad circumstances. Pardon my language. That's bad karma for me, right? And yet, again, this is part of what drew me to Sanatana Dharma, because Western religions just have faith, just believe. You can't know. God is a mystery. Okay, God is a mystery. But I needed a philosophy that was going to specifically answer the very foundational question of all faiths. Why do good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to good people? I need to know the answer to that. And if my spiritual religion or philosophy can't answer that, then I'm out. Because that's something we all want to know. We see it all the time. Good things happening to bad people, bad things happening to good people. Well, karma answers that. When you realize that the bad things happening to good people is because of their past karmic experiences and past deeds from past lives, suddenly makes sense. They're not good people. They don't deserve any of this good stuff happening to them. And yet it's happening. And we see bad things happening to good people. I'm not confused as to why I was hit in the face by a truck. I know that in a past life, I caused a substantial magnitude of suffering of the same way to someone or someone's. I don't remember it, and I don't need to. I accept that I did. So, did I deserve the suffering and the wrecking ball in my life that occurred from that event? Obviously. Not as Krishnanand in this life, because I didn't do anything of that magnitude to anybody, not even close. But how do I know I deserved it? Because it happened. So therefore, karmic justice, the balancing, the force of balance within the material phenomena is karma, to continue to equate and equalize everyone's lives. So bad things happen to good people, good things happening to bad people is karma in action. So that brings us to a nice transition to understand. Not all karma is exactly the same. What happens to me may be different than what's happening to you, good and bad. We're all having identical experiences. I told you we're all a mixed bag of good and bad karmas. A mixed bag. None of the one's all bad, none of the things all good. And yet, I have a certain brand of karma. And you can get to know your brand of karma. Now, again, I'm going off script here from the Vedas. I'm sure in the Vedas, this is more addressed more specifically, but I'm not aware of it because I wasn't given this access to this. But again, my life experience, my self-verified truths is that I have a brand of karma and so do you. My brand of karma, for example, when I was born in 1966 and all through my life until I died and reincarnated as myself, there's been a consistent theme of my life events. I've never gotten anything for free, won a prize, won a reward. I never got anything for free or very easily at all, ever. I'm not bitter about it. I'm actually grateful because it made me work hard for everything that I have. What I'm grateful for mostly is that since I never got anything for free, I have an iron horse work ethic. I understand, accept, and am honored that everything I'm going to get, I'm going to work for. So my brand of karma is that while I've never gotten anything for free and everything has ever come easy to me, the blessing is that everything that I've worked very hard at, I get results from. Now, that sounds like a no-brainer. If you work hard, you'll get results. It's not always that way. We see a lot of people that work hard and don't get any results. Bad things happening, good things happening, bad things happen to good people. And we see a lot of people that don't do anything with their lives. They're useless, and yet good things happen to them. This 1%, many of them, not all of them, but many of them are people that just have good karma. They don't do anything, and they get good things happen when you inherit and all that kind of thing. So my particular brand of karma is I understand now is that nothing easy will ever come to me. I don't benefit from collaborating much with people. I like it and we can do it, but it never bears fruit. And yet everything that I work hard for individually as a solo act, I usually get results. I'm not a power freak. Well, yeah, I kind of am. But knowing this brand of karma for me is essential because I've learned eventually to not bother forming teams, joining companies. I've been self-employed since I was 28, and I'm 54 now. So I've been self-employed a long time. I'm just better on my own. Every time I collaborate and work with and team up, it just doesn't work. Not because we butt heads, it just falls apart. And I've learned that my brand of karma is that if I work hard individually on things, I get results. And I'm grateful because I could work hard individually on things and not even get results, and that'd be heartbreaking. Many people work hard and get nothing. Many people do nothing and get something. I'm in between, and I'm grateful for that. I feel that I have the right balance of justice. That nothing easy comes for me and nothing free comes, but I get results from working hard. I know people that are very naturally fit and physical, attractive, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm been jealous. I'm like, why do they get to do that? Why? Many people that make a career off of just being naturally beautiful. Goody for them. I think I'm above average looking, and I'm grateful for that. But I take care of myself and always have. I work out. I eat right. I keep my mental health sharp and fit and in shape. I put in the work and the effort to get the results. That's my brand of karma. Now, if you have the kind of karma where things come easily for you, well, then play the lottery. And if you don't, well, then don't. I don't play the lottery because I don't waste a dollar. Could I be wrong? Sure. Maybe somewhere in my karma is that I'm going to win. Last time I thought that, I went and bought a handful of tickets. Zero, zip, nothing. I thought I broke that karmic trend. Nope, it was exactly the same. So knowing your brand of karma, again, I can counsel and advise on this, and I do with many of my students and clients in private sessions. And you can tap into that. I am for hire. I teach these things. I teach people how to understand their brand of karma and how to exploit it. An example. I drive a Subaru WRX STI that basically in Southern California where I was, the old Subaru blue color, if CHP saw you, they'd pull you over. Why? Because they figure you're doing something. They figure you're speeding, even if you're not. They just assume it's only a matter of time before you're going to, because it's a rocket ship. My son, who is young, drives a WRX. And again, when cops see you, automatically they flag you, they wait, they know you're going to speed because that's what that car is built for. I'm somebody that if I do anything wrong at all, I get pulled over. I've learned I don't agree with all the traffic laws, but I've learned that if I don't obey it verbatim, then I'm going to get tickets and it costs me more money. So they beat me down. I finally accepted defeat. I don't agree with them because I'm safe. I'm a very safe driver, but I get popped. And yet my son, knock on wood, hope I don't jinx him. My God, he'll never forgive me. He drives WRX. That basically to CHP, to Highway Patrol, says, I'm young and I'm gonna drive fast. And he never gets tickets, never gets pulled over. And he got pulled over one time by them CHP. And he looked at the guy and said, I'm sorry, officer, what did I do? And he said, oh, nothing. Just want to say hello and tell you I love your car. Who does that? I do nothing. I get pulled over and get $300 tickets. And so I'm not encouraging him, nor have I advised him to do this because I'm a good father. I try to be a good father. There's a part of me that's thinking like, dude, you better go race in the Derby 500, whatever it is, race cars. Go street racing and bet your pink slips because you ain't gonna get busted. He seems to have a brand of calm that he doesn't get those kind of consequences. Now that's just one area. He has other kinds, but he doesn't skate through life. I can assure you of that. He's like me as a father, so he doesn't get anything easy. But to understand your brand of calm, to exploit it, take advantage of it, benefit from it, to avoid tragedies, and to exploit and take advantage of opportunities. That's why it's worthwhile to get to know your brand of calm. And you can do that by reviewing your life thoroughly and in detail, and you'll see consistent themes. And if you have trouble with that, well, that's why I'm here. Part of what I offer is exactly that. Counseling, mentoring, to be able to unravel the mysteries of your brand of calm, how it functions, your past lives, etc. What can they be used for? There has to be a value to every knowledge we have. If it has no value, then it's useless trivia. Everything you do, everything you act on, every action you take, every thought you have, every intention you have, what is its intent? What is the value of it? If it has no value, don't do it. Don't waste your time. Life is short. So let's summarize. We have karma means action and consequence. The original source is the Vedas of Sanatana Dharma, revealed by sage Vedavyas. Every action, thought, and intention is stored within the Akashic records. Do not forget that part. Everything you do is stored instantly. That whole thing about Peter at the pearly gates, he has that book. That's their way of interpreting that. And when you get to the pearly gates and Peter's there, and he says, well, let's take a look what you got, whether you get in or not. There is no good or bad till thinking makes it so. There's objective reality and subjective reality. You can't be being punished by anything. There's no bad. Karma just is a reaction of specific and equal magnitude. Opposite or equal. That's it. It works on principles. It's not personal. Karma is a non-living force of the universe, of the cosmos, of the spiritual government. It doesn't have a mind. It works on principles. Karmic consequences fructify in subsequent lifetimes. Again, this is a very important thing, especially for Western minds that don't believe these things about karma, that I'm experiencing these things because of what I did yesterday. You cannot separate the true understanding of karma from reincarnation. They are side by side. They're intertwined. Real quick on that, intertwined, I want to emphasize again, we are all exchanging karmas right now. We're in a relationship with each other remotely. Anybody you're in the same room with, anybody you're intimate with, the more intimate you are with somebody, the closer you are with them, children, family, spouse, lovers, friends, etc., casual acquaintances, the karmic exchange you're doing when you're in the same room with them, when you're in close proximity with anyone, even though we're remote. Some of you are in Chicago. Some of you are in California. Some of you are here in Texas. We are exchanging karmas. I'm giving you some of mine. You're giving me some of yours. Be careful who you associate with so that you make sure that you exchange good karmas as best you can. Again, I'm not down on omnivores. I just don't know if I want to be overly intimate with them. I don't want to be involved with someone who causes suffering anything. Not because I'm ethical and moral. I wish I was that good. I'm no angel. I'm selfish. I don't want to associate with them because I'm afraid. I don't want their bad karma. I already got enough of my own karmas. I don't want any more. I don't need yours, especially if it's not good. Now, if you want to give me some of your good karma, I will take it in abundance. Please do. And I'll give you some of mine in exchange. So everyone you're associating with, everybody you're interacting with, everybody you're involved with, you're exchanging karma. The more closely you're involved with them, the more intimate you are. You're not just exchanging bodily fluids, you're exchanging karma. So be aware of that. Be selective in who you associate with and with what intention you associate with them with. And don't be naive to this idea that you're love anyone unconditionally. No, you don't. It's not possible as a material being. And we are material beings, not spiritual ones yet. We have a spiritual soul. We're becoming spiritual. So don't delude yourself to think that you love unconditionally. There's a condition in everything. You want something in exchange. You want to benefit in some way. At the very least, I want to be charitable and good because it makes me feel good. I have a selfish agenda. I want good karmic results. I want good consequences, and I also want to feel good. And it does. It pays me that. We want to get paid. What's the value of everything we do? Of the people you associate with, of the actions that you make in your lifestyle. Karma is the force that binds us to the material phenomena, reincarnation, again and again and again and again. You have been here for eternity, an infinite amount of lifetimes, which means you have an infinite amount of karma. Infinite. Get to know your brand of karma. There's me in the hospital after my tragedy. I was in a coma, a Glasgow coma, stage 3. I'm the only man to recover from my particular brain injury and a Glasgow coma that's not a vegetable. Science has no explanation for it. I'm officially a medical miracle. So says the chief of brain neurology at UCLA. Literally, he said to me on the phone, actually in person, when I went to see him, "You're officially a medical miracle. We cannot explain how we want to know what you're doing. How are you doing this?" What can we extract from this? You have an infinite amount of karmic consequences for the spiritual government to use, to rearrange, to assemble in any way it wants and needs for one singular purpose. What's the purpose? What's the point? What's the lesson? To realize one simple truth, to realize with a capital R, that you are here and you exist to evolve spiritually and become closer to the Godhead. That's it. That is the purpose of karma. So all of my tragedies and all of my blessings, if we get blessings and we have triumphs, then we can acknowledge the blessings that we receive of the grace of God, of God's grace. And our tragedies, I am grateful. I cannot even begin to express to you the magnitude of the suffering that I've endured during this event of 7 years. My soul separating from my body, my mind being lost, losing everything and everyone that I knew. And yet early on, I wasn't bitter. I'm not a good man. I'm not saying anything like that. I was grateful that my divine parent loved me so much that he's willing to inflict that kind of pain upon his son simply to teach him a lesson, give him another chance to evolve even more. As a parent, I've often said, or at least felt, well, you know, son, I'm sorry, but this hurts me more than it hurts you. And he's looking at me like, yeah, right. You're the one inflicting pain, but you're the one punishing me. It hurts you more than it hurts. Shut up. As a parent, and if you are parents, you can agree with this. We know that what we say is true. And we know that no kid can possibly accept it if they're not a parent. That it hurts us more than it hurts them. And if that's true, my only regret of having to endure that pain is that I inflicted that kind of pain on my divine parent, that my divine parent had to inflict that pain upon me for me to get to the next octave of my spiritual truth and understanding, because I was so ignorant and stupid that I couldn't figure out any other way. So he killed me to evolve me more. I only hope and pray and try every day to benefit from that lesson, not waste it. That he went to all this trouble to rearrange my karmas, to rearrange all my sanskars, to put me in a situation where I could benefit and reach another octave of spiritual truth and love. And that's all it is, love. I just dropped in a word there, and I want to brush on that, and then we're going to start to close down here. Sanskar. I should have brought this up earlier because this is extremely important. It's equal to karma. Karma is the force of the events of your life. Tragedy, triumphs, accidents, health, wellness, illness, whatever it may be, those are karma. The consequences that are a result in physical and material actions. But there's also a term, less known in the West, called sanskar. I mean, I need to give a whole other workshop on this because it's so important, and I'm just going to brush up on it real quick. Sanskar is where your tendencies and attitudes come from. Karma is the force of actions, and sanskars are your attitudes, likes, dislikes, attractions, and rejections. So if you are spiritually minded or materially minded, politically minded, whatever it may be, those are your sanskars. Sanskars, the translation of that again would be something like tendency, feelings, attitudes. When I am waking up in a bad mood, or if I'm having a bad day, like I had the other day, I don't have any reason for it. Everything was the same as it was the day before. I just was generally pissed off. No tolerance, no patience. I was having bad sanskars. We say wake up on the wrong side of the bed. That's a sanskar. Wake up on the right side of the bed because we're having a sanskar. They come in waves. We've created these sanskars to manifest as waves in our life where we're either in tune and we're feeling good and energetic and positive, or we're feeling particularly down. Same life, same circumstances, same events of our lives, and yet one day we feel good about it, the next day we feel bad about the same things. These are sanskars. Whatever your favorite flavor of ice cream is, think about that right now. Imagine that flavor of ice cream in your mouth right now. Everyone likes ice cream. I know you do. So imagine your favorite flavor. Do not say Rocky Road or I'm going to kick you off here. Rocky Road is terrible. So whatever your favorite flavor of ice cream is, did you consciously choose that to be your favorite ice cream? Did you have a deliberation, sit down and think about it and decide to like that and prefer it and make that your favorite? No. You tried it and you liked it. And instantly was like, you know what? That's what I love. I love that. That's delicious. And your least favorite, like Rocky Road. Because I don't think marshmallows belong in anything. Marshmallows do not belong in ice cream for sure. And so when I tasted Rocky Road, I'm like, well, that's terrible. I didn't make a choice. I just instantly didn't like it. I love pistachio ice cream. I don't like Rocky Road. That's an example of a sanskar. I naturally, because in past lives, I've had good experiences with pistachio ice cream and bad experiences with Rocky Road and marshmallows. So sanskars, karmas are the events, and sanskars create your tendencies, your likes, your dislikes. That's where they come from. Most of us here, I would say everyone here that's going to watch this and is here with me today, and thank you for being here. I enjoy your company and exchanging of our karmas. We all have some level of varying mystical and spiritual consciousness and desire. It's natural. We feel that events of our lives have led us to this conclusion, but yet we see people every day that the events of their lives don't lead them to the same conclusion. I think they're delusional. I don't see how you can miss seeing God in everything. Literally, I sound like I'm a corny poet, but I literally see grass growing. I'm like, there's the miracle and evidence of God right there. I see it everywhere. In quantum physics, I'm blown away by it. And so this is my sanskar. I was born spiritually minded from the beginning. I had spiritual consciousness and awareness from the moment I was born. I remember it. When I was not even 1 and 2 years old, I had awarenesses that I thought I was crazy, and then thinking, what do you even know what crazy is? You're a baby. You're an infant. If you say this out loud, people are going to lock you up. And I was like, lock you up? How do I know what that means? How do I know that? Past life sanskars, tendencies and understandings, things you're attracted to, things you're unattracted to. As a drug addict, I'm not anymore because I died and all that. But I mean, I spent 12 years on dope, sticking a needle in my arm in my 20s, in my late teens. When my mom told me that drugs were bad when I was a child, I didn't go, no, I bet you're wrong. No, I believed her. She was rational. She was smart. I trusted her. I wasn't like, no, I bet they're really good. I believed her, and yet I did them anyway. Copious amounts, dangerous, reckless, death-defying amounts, and brands. I had a sanskar from past life experiences. I was a dope fiend in many lifetimes, a sex addict, a drug addict, many lifetimes. And he created these tendencies in this lifetime. I was naturally drawn to them. In a similar way, there's people that are not addicts. Now, I'm an addiction specialist worldwide, books released, video courses, etc. I'm a counselor. Saved a lot of lives with that. So I do know it really honestly better than anybody, including Gabor Mate, who is probably my closest peer. There's a couple of things I know that he doesn't too. And there are people that are not addicts. And the addiction community disagrees with me that everyone can be an addict. No. And it has nothing to do with intelligence. I was in advanced learning programs since I was in third grade because I was too advanced. I was failing school in third and fourth grade because I was too smart for it. That's what they figured out when they tested me. Oh, he's bored. So you would think that somebody as smart as I am would have been smart enough to know that drugs were bad and were going to wreck my life. And I met a lot of dumb people, really dumb people that are like, why would I do drugs like that? That's just stupid. So this is because of sanskars. I was naturally attracted to drugs from past life associations with them. And other people are naturally unattracted to them, repelled by them for the same reason. They're not smarter, and neither am I. We simply have a sanskar. And I was always naturally attracted to drugs. I liked it. I'm not anymore. I broke that sanskar. And there's one final point as we conclude today. Can you break karmic patterns in this life, which are some of these questions? Yes. When I came back from my death experience, my tendency, my urge, once an addict, always an addict, even though I'd been clean for 25 years by that point, I think, or 20 years, I don't know, a long time. My tendency and attraction to drugs has evaporated and gone. I came across the karmic threshold of it, the sanskar, juncture, intersection of it again. And in the first life as Scott, I came across that intersection and I participated and deepened the sanskar and the karmic trench of it. I deepened it, like hitching a groove. But when I came back from my death experience, when I came across that threshold, it didn't make any sense to me. I was curious of drugs and drawn to them, but I simply said, no, that's bad. That's a bad idea. That's illogical and stupid. And I don't remember much. I don't remember my name yet, but I do know that that's not something I want to be involved with. And the moment I did that, my urge and tendencies evaporated in an instant and they've been gone. I'm not an addict anymore. So I did find the cure for addiction. Get hit in the face by a truck, lose your identity and your memory, reincarnate as yourself, become a medical miracle, and suddenly it just kind of evaporates and goes away. But I don't recommend it because you might not survive it. So we can indeed. Every karmic debt you pay, you're breaking the karmic bond of it. But if you don't pay the debt and learn its lesson, then you don't move on from it. So yes, endure your karmic events and experiences. Maybe you can't smile through them, but try to do them as bravely as you can, as nobly as you can. Know that you deserve them. And again, you don't have to smile through it or laugh. Just take them as bravely as you can. And I emphasize on as you can. We're all different magnitudes. I'm not braver or stronger than anybody else. I did a pretty bang up job on this death thing, though. Apparently, I didn't feel like I did. I felt like it was this miserable, horribly suffering. I mean, it was terrible what I was going through. I don't know if anybody handled it better than I did. I handled it best I could. Could it be handled better by somebody on the planet? Probably. Worse too. But I did the best I could. Don't be idle. Please, whatever you do, take every day and do the best that you can with your karma and your sanskars. Don't be idle. I want to know when I die, as I'm dying, that I achieve most of the things I wanted to achieve that I find important, or if I didn't, I was steadily working on it. I was not procrastinating. I was not saying, well, I'm going to soon. I'm going to get to that. Nope. When the trash needs to go out, I take it out. When the dishes need to be washed, I wash the dishes. When it's time to enjoy something, when it's time to meditate on God, it's time to meditate. When at my ashram, satsang begins at a certain time in the morning, and I go. It starts at a certain time, and I want to be there for it. Don't be idle. Participate in karma. Participate in the effects of it. Get involved. Know that when you die, that whether you didn't achieve and accomplish already, you were eagerly and anxiously and steadfastly working at it. Now, we'll conclude with this last bit of self-promotion. Please like the channel and visit my website. Traffic and thumbs up and these kind of things make a difference. I don't get paid for any of this. I get paid by selling you services that hopefully you'll want to participate in. The workbooks that I have on my website, spiritualtriangle.com, the services that I offer of counseling and mentoring and guiding people through their spiritual lives. I'm a spiritual trainer. That's what I call myself. I'm a mystic trainer. I train you in the philosophies. I'm not a guru. I'm not an enlightened master. I hope to be one day. And until then, I'm sharing with you the lifelong body of knowledge that I have consumed since I was 3 and learned to read, so that you don't have to consume the same amount of materials that I did. I'm distilling it, presenting it to you in ways that are hopefully accessible and easy to understand, giving you the source of them. So when you like my channel, let's see what I say here. It costs literally nothing to like the channel, and traffic results in ratings, and only through donations and services can I or any spiritualist continue to offer truth and knowledge. It's easy to look at the religions and say, well, they're so materialistic. Like, look at these, they create these cathedrals. You know what they also create? Hospitals. My guru's charitable organization has educated thousands of girls in India that wouldn't get educations. They have a future. They have lives. He has established 5 hospitals that are free, that saves thousands and thousands of lives every year. And they're free, not discounted. You show up and you get treated and they're free. And the top surgeons and doctors that work there volunteer their time, and they're amazing. I'm getting emotional about it because it means that when I see something like that, I'm just so blown away and impressed that there is good things in the world. But those hospitals and those temples and those girls get educated, those schools get built from donations, from people that are so moved by and so changed by the teachings that they've been given that they donate. And that's what religion needs to do. Which is the Catholic Church, my own guru's mission, to convert those donations into temples where we can absorb ourselves into the spiritual experience in a beautiful environment and immerse ourselves in the environment of it. And so that we can create hospitals and schools and educate and provide food to the poor and these kind of things. And I'm not saying that's all I'm doing. I'm just trying to survive. I'm saying that when you participate in the services that I offer, you thumbs up and you do these kind of things, it adds up. And someone like me is able to continue to spend hours producing these slideshows and these presentations to give to you what I hope is the right knowledge that helps you understand things. That being said, again, I'll leave you with this. I'm not a human being having a spiritual experience. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. That dovetails into that donations and services. Again, look at the website. I offer counseling services. Many of them are free. You can consult with me for free to discover what, if anything, I can help you understand and unravel. Many people come to me to unravel their karmas, to understand their direction, to get the readings that serve their entire lives, not just today. The spiritual triangle readings go through 81 years of your life. They're very thorough and they're very intricate. And even the free ones that I'm offering, they take hours for me to do. And I hope you'll benefit from them. In the meantime, let me see if there's one last question. Please express more insights or examples on that attachment, e.g. eventually I'll need to eat, so I'm attached to the outcome. Yes. So again, the attachments do form an attachment. I do need to eat. But what is my intention? Am I eating for pleasure? Sure, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm hungry. I'm hungry now, matter of fact. I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm also being mindful. There's a favorite Zen saying that I like a lot. Before studying Zen, a bowl is a bowl. During studying Zen, while studying Zen, a bowl is no longer a bowl. And after studying Zen, a bowl is again a bowl. Before studying Zen, a bowl is a bowl. It's a material thing, an object. While studying Zen, Zen breaks down your entire concept of reality, what's real and what's not, tears it all apart, and then just rebuild it. So after studying Zen, so during studying Zen, while studying Zen, a bowl is no longer a bowl. It gets broken down into atoms and molecules, and After studying Zen, you realize that the function and the benefit and the purpose of the bowl is the emptiness inside of it, not the substance of it, not the structure of it, the emptiness, the void of space that's filled with nutritious elements that I can fortify my body so that I can do work in the world to serve humanity and God. So suddenly a bowl is no longer a bowl. It's becoming something so much more. To convert our material resources, our material experiences, and our karmas to spiritual things. I got hit in the face by a truck because I deserved it, because I inflicted pain on somebody to that magnitude in prior lifetime. Who and what doesn't matter. Don't care. I'm paying the consequence. But can I convert that to a spiritual reason? Can I benefit from that in spiritual ways? It took me years of agonizing contemplation. Why, God? What am I supposed to learn from this? I'm not learning anything but what I've lost. All I'm learning is pain and suffering. That's all I'm getting out of this. And I was used to pain and suffering already. What am I supposed to get from this? Please let me know so I can do that for you, not for me. So I can get, you've done all this, you've gone through all this trouble to construct and engineer these breaking points in my life. I just want to use them properly. I want to use what you've given me so it's not wasted because you went to all this effort. Another conversation, another workshop maybe. But some little time ago, after 7 years, I finally gained perspective of what the point was, what I was to benefit, how it changed me. It wasn't just to realize that life is a miracle. I already knew that. That God is omnipotent. I already knew that. He gave me material to have evidence every day of his grace. So when I'm in my meditations, I get to draw from that all the time and be emotionally in love with my divine parent. I'll leave you with that thought. Seek out your karmas, exploit them. They're coming either way. Convert them into something spiritual with your intention. Contribute and donate to the world around you. Feel free to tap into me for free readings, for paid readings. There's a variety of different ones on my website, spiritualtriangle.com. There it is. Readings, live sessions, mystical gangster training. I train you in mysticism. I love that. It's a lot of fun. Workbooks. So a lot of things that I'm explaining to you now, I've condensed into workbooks that are very accessible, very fun to read. They're very inexpensive too, like $7, $8. Took me months to produce these things, months and years to gain the knowledge of them. Please visit the website. And I have one more slide after this, I guess. So, and this is just pictures of my guru. And again, there's me at Stonehenge. Again, our experiences, all the things that we can do and experience and interact with. What are we going to extract from that? What are we going to be able to extract from our experiences every day, what we're associating with? I've gone on quite a bit. I'll leave you with those thoughts. Good karma to you. I'll see you again soon. I'll be in touch and I'll post up the next meetup, which I think is going to either be on Karma Part 2 or Near-Death Experience. It might be up to you, so I'll be asking your opinion. I'd be love to hear what your opinions are, what you'd like the next workshop to be on. And please, again, if you visit the YouTube channel and the website, these videos get posted up. So we've got this like workshop number 6. We've also got Spiritual Triangle. We've got one on tarot, one of astrology is coming up. See you soon. Namaste. Rajay Shri Radhe. So clear explanation. Thank you. Thank you.
No, because I make a question and I cancel. I say retract the question because you already automatically answered.